Welcome back, everybody, to Call of Duty Daily, where Paul is currently throwing grenades and not paying attention.
You know, my days have settled in to kind of a new normal, you know. So I get up, I read the paper digitally, obviously, and I'm usually working before 8 o'clock. And then I know I have this thing at 11. So the only question is, like, how much do I write before then? And so today, for example, I'd have to go look. I think I wrote, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 articles. I thought it was 5. Anyway, 4 articles. That's not bad. So it was like 10 of, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to play a game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of things in art games, today's show is brought to you by Cloudberry Lab. Check them out at cloudberrylab.com/FRD for a free offer. Learn how to back up all your goodness, protect yourself from ransomware, choose your own cloud, bring your own data, and go from there. But let me see. This is Miracast. Nope. Gotta re-engage it there. Nope. That image was deleted from my computer, and yet somehow it's still in the Photos app.
Listen, I'm just gonna go ahead and send you a Chromecast, and actually, that TV might have Chromecast built into it.
It does, but it's a little flaky.
Yeah, right.
But Paul, yesterday I went here.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah,
it looks a little swampy.
Yeah,
is that usually an island hole?
I went in there and I was like, yeah, hey, I want to go to the driving range, as did apparently half the country. Fortunately, though, I got there before most people. And he joked, this is not what this is supposed to look like, by the way, everybody.
Right.
Beyond this kind of tree line, there's a river. It's called the Little Miami River. It's actually pretty large. But this is also a floodplain where this golf course is. And so when we get a lot of water, it's flooding. And he said, welcome to lakefront golfing. There's a slight premium of $25 today. But it was great. I hit the ball much better, and I should probably put my clubs away and never hit them again, because I don't think it will get any better than that.
I don't remember if it was on the Commodore 64 or the Amiga, but there was a golf game. I think it was called Leaderboard Golf, but it might be a different game, where you literally hit the ball only to island holes. Like, that was the point of the courses. Like, it was all water traps. It was entertaining. I suspect in real life, not so much.
Yeah, I mean, only if you just like throwing, well, I guess depending
balls
on
away.
Yeah, $2 to $5 worth of balls every single hole.
Yeah, bring a fishing net with you. You know, you could probably find some new balls in there for yourself.
Yeah, and for those who are watching at home, not on the audio stream, although most of you do watch on the audio stream. I'm nailing it today. I did some camera finagling to try to make Paul's fat head the same size as my normal head.
How's that?
Pretty close, I mean, you look like you're ready for the St. Valentine's Day massacre, but
it's like on today's episode of Speed Dating. He's a writer.
Dude, you had to have seen House Hunters at some point.
I watch it religiously. I hate that show, and I watch it every day.
He's a writer and she's a dog walker, and their budget is $2.9 million.
Exactly. He wants a house in the countryside, and she's looking for a city loft. Will these two lovebirds be able to figure it out? Find out tonight on House Hunters. Yeah, literally the plot of every episode.
Yep. But not speaking of House Hunters, if you have a Surface Pro 3, you are now protected against Spectre and Meltdown. That sound about right?
I didn't notice this. There were recent firmware updates for Surface Studio. I think was one of them, and probably the new Surface Pro. But according to the Microsoft Security Advisory, they're in the process of updating the firmware on all their own devices to accommodate those vulnerabilities. So, you know, the prescription there is keep Windows up to date, obviously, and then look to your PC maker for the firmware updates you're going to need. And you'll probably be installing them multiple times. So this week they just happened to ship one for the Surface Pro 3, and they explicitly called it out that this is what it was. So I assume the whole range either already has it or will be getting it soon.
Yep. Speaking of getting it soon, Paul.
There it is.
There it is. This is the non-Nintendo Switch that showed up yesterday. It's the Unify Switch 8. This thing is overkill. I spent too much money, and I absolutely love it.
Yep.
Yeah, it was $100 for an 8-port Switch, but this one does power over Ethernet, a couple other fancy things. It's a gigabit
Switch.
The other big reason why I got this is it's made by the same brand that makes my whatever you call Wi-Fi stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and so
Should work together well,
in theory, and
presumably.
it was plug and play. I plugged it in, and
Mm-hmm.
everything works.
Nice. Still haven't gone behind my TV and attached a couple of cables to things, but we all need projects.
There's always tomorrow, Paul. There's
That's
always,
right. Yep.
always tomorrow. Speaking of tomorrow, I was trying to segue this into what's going to be called the Spring Creators Update or whatever the hell. This is a bad transition. Just pretend this one didn't happen. But the Fall Creators Update is now surging to 85% market share.
Now, I don't know off the top of my head how broadly previous versions of Windows 10 were eventually deployed, but I have to think 85% is pretty much the top of the line there. Like the fact that there are only 15% of Windows 10 PCs in the world that are not running this release is rather astonishing, especially since, 3, 4, 5 months, whatever we're at right now. It's really not been that much time. It hit 75% last month, and that seemed like, pretty saturated. I'm sure one of them might have hit 80%, but this seems to be setting new records for Microsoft. So, good for them.
Yeah, I think they're in the full throttle, pushing it towards warp speed.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm still waiting. I wonder when they're going to tell us what the next update's going to be called.
I am praying to God they just drop these stupid names and just it's Windows 10 version 1803. Let's just move forward. I don't understand why these things have to be interesting.
That's not. There's just no marketing opportunity there. As I die a little inside saying that.
Yeah, I know. Now there'll have to be a name, but I bet they just call it the Spring Creators Update, and then they'll have to reset. I know.
That one.
I know, but it's just too obvious. It's too easy.
Yeah, it's too terrible.
Mm-hmm. It is too terrible.
Yeah. Maybe they should just start naming them after defunct Lumias, like the 530 update, 730 update, 920.
Right, and you can tell how meaningful it is by how high the number is. This one's the 435. There's not much going on there. In fact, there's a couple of things that don't work as well as before. Yeah.
What a week. Also, Microsoft announced today, well, not Microsoft, it was actually Qualcomm, I believe, announced that a whole bunch of ARM PCs are coming to basically every carrier. And who's surprised by this? Not many people, but...
Well, I mean, I don't know. If you go back and look at the Surface RT launch, I mean, you could probably stick a SIM in any, computer and have it work. I mean, but there probably wasn't very broad support for that kind of thing. The fact that all 4 major carriers in the United States are on this list is kind of amazing to me. And then they have, I think it's 14 totally worldwide, so 10 outside of the United States. Honestly, the thing that is maybe most surprising about this announcement is that we've literally heard nothing more about new Qualcomm-based PCs, right? There are the 3 we know about from Lenovo, Asus, and HP. And seriously, I can't do a podcast without Siri coming on these days. I don't know what's going on. Mobile World Congress is coming up. Perhaps we will hear about more of them there. Maybe it does seem like kind of a logical time for that. And obviously, there's the Intel side of the fence as well. So Intel is supporting always connected PC as well, and there will be many, many more Intel-based PCs that will support the instant on stuff and the battery, well, better battery life, not the same as Qualcomm, but also the cellular connectivity stuff.
Yeah, I would imagine 5G is going to be a big thing because that's all the major carriers are now talking about it. I think Verizon at one point said it's coming later this year for them, and so that's going to be.
I think
kind of a
5G is going to be is going to be a slow boil. But yeah, it's on there. I mean, gigabit LTE is going to be big. And I do sort of wonder how transformative this is going to be for the PC industry, just from the cellular aspect. Like we've had some computers that can have cellular connections. There aren't that many. I think there's a reason there haven't been that many. And convincing people to do this, convincing people to have yet another data plan,
right,
is going to be interesting. But then again, maybe we're looking at this the wrong way because that's how things are here in the United States. I mean, if you're in a developing country or someplace that isn't the United States or Western Europe, it may be advantageous to have a cellular connection always on, always available, and that might be your primary way, of connecting to the world. So, yeah, we'll see.
The one thing that annoys me about all this is that, so if let's just use the Apple Watch LTE for example, which I understand the
Yeah,
appeal of this device. It actually, I'm never going to buy one unless Verizon
sure.
fixes their payment plans,
Yep.
because I would love to be able to go to the gym without having to take my cell phone with me.
Yeah, it should be an add-on for your phone, and it should just use the same data connection. And
Exactly. And it should
yeah,
use the same data
it's
bucket. I should be going to
yeah,
Verizon saying, I want 6 gigs a month, and I can use it
yeah.
however the hell I want.
On X number of SIMs, it shouldn't matter. Yeah, I
And to
agree.
them, here's what doesn't make sense is they want to charge $10 a month to be able to do all that, which makes
Right.
no sense because their business model is the more data you use, the more money I'm going to pay them. They should be
Yep.
encouraging me to use as
Yep.
much data as possible. And right now, there's a $10 a month barrier to me doing that. So,
Yeah, this is probably like an insurance claim kind of thing. Like it's you do the math on like what do we have to pay because we have a problem with our product,
hmm
except it's in the reverse, and then eventually you fix the problem because it becomes too expensive. In this case, it's how do we make the most money short term? And right now, it's maybe charging a little bit extra because the audience is small, but maybe when the audience is bigger, which it should be for something like this, they'll switch to what you're suggesting. I hope so. I mean, you got to make this seamless. I mean, that's the entire point of the thing we were just talking about, this always connected PC thing. It's,
yep.
managing all these different accounts is like, is in some ways the most onerous part of it too. And then extra fees, obviously. So, yeah, I don't know. Wireless carriers always do the right thing, Brad. What are we worried about? Said no one ever.
I will never forget the days when I bought a BlackBerry 8830 World Edition from Verizon
Right.
because I was going to be going to Europe.
Yep.
And it had a GPS chip built in, but Verizon software locked it and would never
boy.
unlock it.
Yikes. That's
You know,
amazing. Yeah, there are a lot of examples of stuff like that, I think. Remember there were some, I think there were AT&T Lumias where they disabled the wireless charging or something like that.
yeah.
Sounds vaguely familiar. Something like that. Sad.
Yep. Not that this matters to anybody else but me, but Paul, I looked up my PUBG stats,
Okay.
and for first person perspective, that's all I play. I don't play that third person crap. It's not my style. Not my style.
Mhm. Interesting.
I will share a screenshot later, but Paul, I'm in the top 10% for the North American server. Apparently, I'm a little bit better than I thought I was. But
Wow. Wow. I did recently prestige, so I can tell you now that I have completed 6 prestiges and I'm on the 7th prestige now. So I was off a little bit by what I thought it was, but I think there are 11
wow, it's a
altogether.
little over
So,
halfway. But you
yeah.
figure, I mean, you realistically, your deadline's what, November or October?
Yeah, I should be good. I can coast. Actually, the big thing was just fixing my, KD ratio, right? We talked about how I started off negative. So I'm on the cusp of 1.25. So it's heading in the right direction.
And as you can tell, folks, there's not a lot to talk about on this Wednesday.
Also, on this note, I got an email from Google this week, last night, I think, that told me that my photos on Google Maps have now been viewed over 3 million times.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's actually pretty serious, I think.
And
I mean,
wow.
compared to like social media networks like Twitter or Facebook or Instagram, it is possible that I have more exposure through Google Photos, through Google Maps than anything else, possibly even more than all of them combined. I'm not really sure, but it seems like a big number.
Yeah. I don't know if I've ever submitted a photo. Do you submit photos to Google Maps? How does that
Yeah,
work?
a lot of times when I go out to eat and I take a bunch of food photos, I'll post them. So there are these random pictures like that just have lots of views. Like there's a place that was our favorite restaurant in Paris. They actually changed hands. We went back and then had an even better experience. It was crazy. And just one of those pictures for some reason has been viewed I don't remember the number, 200,000, 250,000 times, some crazy thing. And then there's one picture from Bamboo and Dedham, which was my, favorite sushi place, which has some tens of thousands of views. And, we went to randomly to a French restaurant in Boston. One picture, it's just of the restaurant. It's really nothing special, but it kind of shows you what the place looks like.
Yeah.
Is way up there for some reason. Like it's weird to me because I feel like I have taken some good photos, but the ones that are like the best, most viewed or whatever, are not the ones I would have chosen. I mean, they're good, they're fine, but it's just whatever people are looking for. I don't know.
There you go, Paul Thurrott, famous on the Google Maps. Speaking of Google Maps,
Yep.
I was thinking about this yesterday. I meant to do some research. Is Bing Maps still a thing?
That's awesome. I mean, sort of, right? Like if you go to bing.com, there's a maps. There's still maps. It's probably powered by here, right? I mean, they have that multi-year licensing thing going on there. And probably not just here. It's probably some combination of things, but yeah. Why do you ask? Oh, because are there photos in Bing Maps?
I don't know. Like there was a time that where Microsoft was really pushing Bing Maps, and they would email us every so often and say, look, here's the new features. We got bird's eye view. We got 3D flyover.
Yeah.
And I don't think I've gotten any updates about Bing Maps in the last 2 years. Now, that either means one of two things, that the PR person who contacted me about Bing Maps has probably left and nobody backfilled, or I have no idea.
Yeah, I mean, there are. In fact, it's very much like Google. You could go to maps.bing.com. I just went to a local restaurant to see what it looked like. They do that sidebar thing, and you can scroll through a list of photos. I mean, it's very. Let me bring up the Google one. Go to the same restaurant. It'd be funny if it was the same pictures. They're just Googling it and getting the pictures that way. I mean, I'm kind of more. It's funny. Oh yeah, of course on Google my review comes up first in my photos because I'm me, I guess. Add a photo. That's funny. I took some nice pictures at this place too. How come these aren't more popular? Anyway, I don't know. They do. I don't know why they do, but yeah, Bing has a thing.
It's still there.
Yep.
Miracast partially working again? You got anything else for today, Paul?
No. Well, I'm going to be, we do Windows Weekly today, obviously. After that's over, I'm heading down to, I don't know the name of the town, but it's somewhere near Philadelphia, to go to the Philly.net user group meeting. I'm not speaking there. I'm just going to attend it. It's actually developer oriented, which is kind of cool to me. And in March, they're doing a thing on PWAs, which I'm going to try to attend. I don't remember what tonight's topic is, but that's how I'll be spending my evening, sitting amongst nerds, listening to nerd stuff.
They should call the PWA one the .com instead of .net.
Wow.
Oh, come on. Yeah. That was good.
I feel bad for .net guys.
Not a good domain.
I mean, .net was well done. It was.
Yep. Well, unfortunately, I will not be golfing today. That is sad news all around.
Okay. Why?
Well, according to the Bible, it is a 40 days of raining. And I'm going to start building an ark because it is going to be raining up through, I think, Monday. I'm looking forward.
Yeah, are you serious? Wow.
Yeah, like I'm not even kidding. Like you look at it and it's just like rain. Like, well, you saw the flooding from the golf course.
Yeah,
and they're like, the Ohio River, like they're shutting the flood doors on a whole bunch of different dams or whatever.
Can we just divert this to Las Vegas or something? It seems like someone could use this water.
If my memory serves me correctly, Vegas had plenty of water when we were there, Paul.
That's a good point. Yeah, that was a rare rainy season in Vegas.
Yep, I need to dig out that picture of the electrical box sitting in a puddle because that was highlight of my life.
Yeah, just like title it "What Could Go Wrong." Like the only thing missing was little electrical shorts. Like
you step in those puddles.
Yeah.
With that, folks, today's show is brought to you by Cloudberry Lab. Check them out, cloudberrylab.com/FRD, and we'll catch you right back here tomorrow tomorrow's Thursday, so it's not a live show. It's just regular old Paul and I doing nothing. Have yourselves a wonderful day. Great show today, Paul.